Hello, I'm Wendy, and I'm here today with Anxiety UK. I'm going to share a few mindfulness and compassion techniques with you. To begin with, I just want to read a bit of information about Anxiety UK. So at the moment, Anxiety UK want to offer some additional support for people during these difficult times, such as these live sessions. So this is the 5th in a series. They're also sharing a support group online, and the next one is next Tuesday, 6 to 7 p.m. UK time. You can sign up at support@anxietyuk.org.uk. They also have various resources on their website, and they have a telephone line. The number is 03444 775 774. Just to let you know, the service is still open, but there is some reduced service in order that some more support can be offered over the weekends as well, at 10 to 8 p.m. The staff will do their best to get to all calls as soon as they can, but they are doing a lot of this in their own time, so please be patient. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about a little bit about mindfulness and compassion and how it can support us. Mindfulness may be something you're already familiar with, or it might be completely new. The term mindful is starting to become more popular in common use, so you might hear people using that as a phrase in everyday language. Basically, when we're talking about mindfulness, all we mean is being aware, being attentive, and noticing what's going on for us inside and outside. So it's something that can be practiced by anyone, anywhere. But a common way of practicing it is through the use of meditation. So I just want to briefly mention meditation before we go on to actually try it out. There are lots of different types of meditation, and meditation has been around for a very long time all over the world. In mindfulness, it was developed by someone called John Kabat-Zinn, and he borrowed some ideas from Buddhism and developed them as a secular practice to help support anxiety and stress. And it's since been picked up and developed further. So, for instance, it's recommended by the NHS for depression. So there's been a lot of research into the benefits of it, as well as into other types of breathing practices and relaxation practices. And you'll find probably lots of resources for these online as well. So let's start with practice. So, and I'd like you to just do as far as you're comfortable. So there's no pressure to do anything that feels uncomfortable. Just do what feels right for you. But just take a few moments now to get comfortable wherever you're sitting. So sitting in your chair, just making sure you're sitting in a position that's comfortable for you. If possible, sitting with your legs uncrossed and your arms uncrossed, and just letting your arms rest slightly. And I'm going to invite you to either take a soft focus with your eyes, so that you're gazing at nothing in particular, or if you're comfortable doing so, you can close your eyes. Okay. So just letting everything settle down. We're going to notice our breath, being with our breath as it comes and goes in the body. The body is already breathing. We're just bringing our attention to it. I'm not asking you to breathe in any particular way. Breathe however you wish. If you're comfortable, that you can breathe in and out through your nostrils. Just breathing in, breathing out. Maybe you'll notice the breath as it comes through your nostrils, the feel of the air, or a sense of breath traveling down into the body, feeling of your lungs and belly as the breath travels down and out again. So that sense of the lungs expanding with your in-breath, the belly expanding with your in-breath, and contracting with your out-breath. Just being with your breath for a few moments, however it is. Just breathing in, breathing out. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do except breathe in, just for now. And then widen your attention. We're going to do a mindful weather check. So just noticing what the internal weather is like for us at the moment. Just asking yourself inside your mind, what's going on for you right now? In terms of thoughts, emotions, physical body sensations, what's around. So noticing what's there without any need to change it, without any need to push it away or to control it. Just bringing a kindly awareness to being with what's present, as far as is possible. And sometimes this can feel really hard, and other times it can feel okay. You're just being gentle with yourself, just noticing how you are in this moment. And then return into a breath until I ring the bell. Don't know if you can hear that. So that was just a few moments of checking in with ourselves in a mindful way. And what I'd like to invite you now to do is just notice how you are right now in this moment. How are you? What's around for you? And whatever's around for you, just let it be there gently. In these times that are difficult for many people, there can be heightened emotions, heightened anxiety. And that's just our body's way of surviving. It's a survival response. Our body's reaction is a normal one. And we can just notice that's what's happening for us. And then maybe sometimes we can do something to help shift it. And breathing is just one possibility, one way we can do that. So that's about doing a deliberate exercise in some way, but there are also other ways. So, for example, this morning, I went out for 10 minutes or so. Again, being mindful of physical distance between other people. And I'm also noticing what language I use. So instead of saying I'm socially isolating, which itself sounds isolated and feels isolating, I'm staying at home. I'm choosing to stay at home because that's the best thing to do to take care of myself and to take care of other people. So I went out for a 10-minute stroll just to get some air. And it was a bit of what we call a mindful walk. So I was mindful of where I was going, of not getting too close to some people walking their dogs, for example. And I was also appreciating the fresh air, the feel of light, the feel of the sunlight on the skin. The trees are still bare here. I'm in the UK, in the northwest, and the trees are mainly still bare. There are a few daffodils scattered around in the grass. And There are tiny signs of new growth from the trees, so even though they seem bare, there's tiny shoots coming through. And I stop for a moment to appreciate those. And I also stop for a few minutes to listen to the birds. There are so many birds. I'm not familiar with different types of birds. I couldn't tell you which bird sings which song. But I just stood for a few minutes and closed my eyes and took it in. And that's a mindful practice as well, which is something we can all do. So I hope that gives you a few thoughts. I think one thing some people might find difficult at the moment is this change in the way we live. Can mean for some people the structure of their days is completely different, and that's something we pay attention to think, what's good for us in the sense of structuring our days. So that would be different for everyone. But where in the day can I take a bit of time for myself to look after myself? And I'm going to give you, we're going to do a compassion practice next. In fact, we might do a couple. I'm just thinking what shall we do? Yes. So, compassion practices are akin to mindfulness. And they introduce the idea of being kind to ourselves and be kind to others. And what I'm inviting you to do really is to think about how you look after yourself, how you care for yourself, how you soothe yourself. And I do appreciate for some people that's difficult. So let's try it together for a few minutes. So it's only going to be a few minutes long. We're going to do a colour compassion exercise. So one of the things about the mind, our minds are very powerful. And sometimes our minds go on the negative. We have a negative bias. So that means we might be thinking about what might go wrong, anticipating the worst case scenario. And that can lead us down a rabbit hole, which leads us to feeling that's worse, feeling worse. So it becomes a vicious cycle. But we can also use the minds for good, which is what we're going to do in the next couple of exercises. Okay, so mindful compassion and doing a compassionate colour exercises. So just getting comfortable again, just checking how you're sitting. So you're sitting comfortably. And we always start this way. So we'll start by just checking how we're sitting, making sure our legs and arms are uncrossed. And checking in with our breathing. So we're using the breath as a way of settling down. And if that's difficult for you, then that's okay too. Just be aware of that and maybe a bit less emphasis on it. So just letting everything settle again. And then just in your own time, what I invite you to do is bring to mind something that for you represents kindness or compassion or love. Again, using whatever word is right for you. And you might see the colour, or you might just hear it like a word. Anything is okay. There's no right or wrong way. Not everyone sees images. So just bring into mind the colour that represents this feeling of kindness, compassion, love. And if it's not a colour, it could be just something like a light, a bright light, just to imagine that. Now, when you breathe in, I'd like you to imagine Like you're breathing this colour into you and breathing it out. Now imagine this colour is in front of you, at whatever distance is comfortable, so just in front of you. And it's spreading to the sides of you, your left and your right side, and then to the back of you, until you're surrounded with this colour. This colour that's a kind, loving, compassionate, healing colour. And it spreads further until it's beneath your feet and above your head, until you're surrounded in this bubble. Just breathing it in, breathing it out. This is a bit like a safe space that surrounds you. Just staying with this for a few moments. And we stay with this for as long as needed. I'm going to move on to continue this into another meditation in a minute. So when you're ready, just letting the image go. Just coming back, letting that image go. And hopefully it will have helped you to feel soothed and calm. Another useful method is something called grounding. There's different ways of doing this, but while we're sitting here, what I'd like you to do is imagine the soles of your feet or the base of your body is connected to the surface below it. So first of all, just getting a sense of the surface where you're sitting or standing or lying. Feel that connection between your body and the surface beneath it. And now we're going to use our imaginations again. So we're imagining that there are roots reaching down from us, down into the earth below. A bit like the roots of a tree, or another image might be like a mountain. So imagining we're connected to the earth below, just letting our roots sink down as we breathe in and breathe out. If you find it helpful, you can use your breath, just breathing in, breathing out into the earth below. Feeling that sense of security, letting yourself feel grounded, even if it's just for a few moments. Feeling with this sense of feeling grounded. And if you're comfortable doing so, you might extend your imagination to imagine these roots reaching right down and connecting with other trees that are on the earth or other people. So it's this sense of connection spreading around the world. So even though we're all sitting here in our own homes or wherever we might be, we can still feel connected. And we can choose compassion. And the compassion's a hard word. You can choose kindness or love. Or whatever words along those lines that feel comfortable for you. And we can wish them. We can hope for them. So I'm inviting you now, just again, just inside your mind, to say these words as far as it's comfortable for you. May we be well. May we be well. May we be well. And letting your imagination carry your breath up to the area of your heart. So just letting yourself imagine as you breathe, you're breathing into your heart. And you're breathing in kindness. You're breathing in care. And you're breathing it out. And you're letting your heart carry this around. So we could wish the same for everyone sitting here now, listening. May we be well. May we be well. May we be well. And we could extend that to include all those who are connected to us. We could extend it to people in our own lives who be careful. May we be well. May we be well. May we be well. And we could extend it to people out there in the community who are doing acts of kindness, who are acting compassionately. You might need to think of someone you know in your own life, or it might be more general, thinking of people who work in the health service, who are out there caring for others. Sending them wishes, so that may they know that they care for too. May they be well. May they be well. May they be well. And we could extend this wish to the whole of the planet, the world we live in. May all be well. So, as we've come to the end of this compassionate practice, just taking a moment for yourself. So, if you need to take a stretch, take a stretch. Just noticing what you can give yourself, in terms of being kind to yourself. And shortly, I'm going to open up for people to share their experiences of meditations we've just been doing. Before I do that, I'd just like to read a poem. Poems are quite often used in mindfulness compassion practice as a way of touching in with things. Whether or not you agree with all of the words in the poem, it can be food for thought. Let me find it. So it's a poem that's shared with me recently called, actually it hasn't got a name, but it's by someone called Kitty O'Meara. And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learnt new ways of being and were still and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows. And the people began to think differently, and the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed, and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses, and made new choices, and dreamed new images, and created new ways to live, and healed the earth fully, as they had been healed. I think in times of such as these, there can be a lot of fear of what we might lose, a fear of uncertainty, and those are very normal feelings. And there can be a wish for things to go back to how they were. But we can only be here now, as we are now, because we have this moment together. And hopefully more moments to come. So, I'm just going to pause and see if anyone's got any questions or any comments. Anyone would like to comment on how they found doing those practices. Okay, so I've got a question from Dave. Would we do these practices just once a day or multiple times? And if only once, when's the best time? Good question. So with any kinds of practices like these, they're most useful if done regularly. Now, what that regularly means is really personal, up to you. But I would certainly suggest doing them on a regular basis. And it's always easy to do them when we're feeling relatively okay, so that when we're feeling not so okay, they're there for us. In terms of times of day, personal preference. So have a think about what your routine is like, or what it's going to be like over the coming weeks. Whether there's someone who would find it helpful to do in the morning. Morning is quite a nice time to do it because it helps set up the day. I know sometimes when I'm talking to people who have busy lives, they don't have time to do it in the morning, so they might do it at lunchtime, or they might do it at tea time. So it's about experimenting. Can you find a bit of a quiet space to do it, somewhere by yourself, or doing it with other people in your household? And just trying it, seeing what works for you. And sometimes it takes a bit of perseverance as well, because it's a new habit. So any new habits take a bit of practice. So once a day, every day would be a good attempt. But if that's too much, maybe once a day, every other day. Just give it a go and see what works. Does that answer your question, Dave? Okay. Please let me know if anything about that wasn't clear, or if you want me to expand on anything. Great. And it's also about just making sure when you do anything like this that you're getting benefit from it. So if you find you end up feeling worse, change it. Okay, so it's up to you what you do and how much you do, but it's important that it's a benefit for you. So I'm not seeing any other questions at the moment, but please feel free to to share your experience of that or to ask further questions. In the meantime, I'm just going to repeat some of the information I read out at the beginning, so just so you have it if you need it. So Anxiety UK information line, telephone line, is 03444 775 774. That's 03444 775 774. And they also have a support group online that meets on Tuesdays at 6 p.m, which you can sign up for emailing support@anxietyuk.org.uk. Anxiety UK is all one word, so it's ANXIETY UK. For anyone who's new or unfamiliar with doing these kind of practices, it can feel very different, particularly for some people who aren't used to stopping still and not being busy or not doing anything. So it's just a matter of taking it slowly. That's why the practices I shared with you are fairly short, and which hopefully makes it easier to do. So there's no need to sit for hours at a time, although some people do that, of course, as well. Just a few minutes. Okay, so it looks like there's no other questions coming in at the moment, so I'm going to just wait another few seconds and then end the stream. So I'd just like you to take a moment to experience thankfulness for yourself. So thank you for being here today. And I wish everyone well. Oh, I've just got another question. Thank you. I was just about to stop there. How helpful is mindfulness for things such as struggling to sleep? It certainly can be helpful. It goes back to what I was saying just now. It's if you've never done anything like mindfulness, doing a mindfulness practice and then imagining hoping your sleep would change immediately wouldn't be realistic. But doing any kind of practice, whether it's mindfulness or compassion or something similar, helps to self-regulate. So self-regulating our bodies and emotions has knock-on effects with managing anxiety and also with sleep. Obviously, there's loads of different reasons for people having poor sleep. But I think mindfulness as a regular practice can have this beneficial knock-on effect to help with sleep. It's not a relaxation technique, though. So sometimes people get mindfulness and relaxation a bit confused. Mindfulness is being about being aware. But even so, it's being aware and being awake, which is why it's not necessarily a good one to do late at night, because you're not trying to switch off with mindfulness, you're trying to be present. But in being present, you're still helping your breath to have some effect on slowing down the system. Relaxation techniques are particularly useful for winding down at night time. Okay, so any other questions? Just to say with sleep, I think sleep is, the way I approach sleep is holistically, so not just trying one technique, but looking at a bigger picture around it. So just looking at your whole sleep routine, looking at where you have downtime, and as part of that, building in a meditation practice can really be useful. You're welcome. So I'm just going to wait a few moments in case there's any further questions. This is interesting, actually, because usually when I do meditations with people, I know the people that I'm doing them with, and I'm also able to check out how their experience of it is. So this is a new experience for me. Okay. So I think that's it for now. I hope if you're welcome. Thank you. I hope if you're either here now or watching this afterwards, that it's been of some benefit for you. Thank you, Catherine. Stay well. Take care.